Elon Musk has dropped the bomb again. Yeah, Elon Musk has said that Ukraine cannot win the war against Russia. They should stop thinking about it. There is no way Ukraine will win the war against Russia.
If you have an extended war of attrition, every day that goes by, there are Ukrainian boys that are, and not even boys anymore because they're running out of boys. You're losing, Ukraine's losing people every day. And if you're going to spend lives, it must be for a purpose. And not just, a mile here, a mile there. In fact, a mile back and forth. The lines aren't moving. So just every day, people die. For what purpose? And as you said, there is no way in hell that Putin is going to lose. If he were to back off, he would be assassinated. And for those who want regime change in Russia, they should think about who is the person that could take out Putin. And is that person likely to be a peacenik? Probably not. They're probably going to be even more hardcore than Putin if they took him out.
As you can understand, this is a big statement to make by Elon Musk. Elon Musk, during a meeting with conservative Republican senators, said Ukraine should stop the war because there's no way they're going to win the war. So let me put it like this for you fellas. Is Elon Musk against Ukraine? Maybe. Well, maybe not. Elon Musk provided internet connection to Ukraine when the war started using Starlink. Starlink is one of the internet connection possibility by Elon Musk. It's a satellite internet constellation operated by private aerospace company providing coverage to over 70 countries. It is also aiming to enter the cell phone market in 2023. So basically, Starlink allows you to get internet connection, even in the most random, the most farthest place possible. In a forest, you can get internet connection via Starlink because it's operated by satellite. With satellites beaming on the Earth, you can access internet. And that's exactly what Elon Musk provided to Ukrainians during the war. Why did he do that? Musk did that because he did not want Ukraine not to lack access to internet during Russia's attack. Because obviously, when a country attacks another country, what do first? They destroy communication, and that includes internet connection. So Elon Musk allowed the army and civilians to have internet access via Starlink for free. Then after that, the Ukrainians used Starlink for shooting their missiles against the Russians. They used Starlink connection to do intelligence services and many other things. Now, something happens later on. The Ukrainians trying to go bombard a Russian boat fleet using Starlink connection. And at that specific time, because Elon Musk obviously was informed of what was happening, they decided to cut the connection off. After cutting the connection, the Ukrainians asked him, please reinstate the connection because we're just about to hit where it really hurt, to hit Russia. And Elon Musk refused. Why did he refuse to do that? After Elon Musk not allowing Ukrainians to use Starlink to bomb the Russian fleet, many people were very angry at him, saying, it's Elon Musk, part of the Russian supporters. Does Elon Musk really wants things to work for America? Is he with us or against us? Now, Elon Musk said, the reason why I gave you Starlink connection, it was not for you to go and do war. I gave you Starlink connection so you can still watch Netflix, even though there was war happening. Now, the reality is this. Later on, he explained, saying the reason why he cut his connection off the Ukrainian army is because he knew that had they exploded the Russian fleet, that would have perhaps been the beginning of World War III. Now, fellas, remember, Musk, even though he has supported Ukraine, he's been very cautious on the choices he's made. Later on, Elon Musk said, well, I cannot provide you access to Starlink anymore because you need to be paying for it. People were not happy with him. Americans, Europeans, and many more were not happy with him at all, saying, Elon Musk is a traitor. And he said, how can I be a traitor if I gave them connection for a long time with no payments? I did it for free. And that was when they started paying him for the access to the internet. Now he comes forward during a meeting and says, you know what, fellas, you need to drop it. There is absolutely no way Ukraine will beat Russia in a war as it is right now. It's not possible. Then again, let me remind you again, Elon Musk, at the beginning of the war, he came up with an idea saying, why don't you guys come together? You say you want peace. Why don't you get the Russians and the Ukrainians to sit together around the table and have a genuine discussion on how to finish the war? It feels like you just want to send weapons and more weapons. And logically, that doesn't make sense because if you truly want the end of the war, why would you send weapons and more weapons, knowing that sending weapons actually means big business, good business for weapon sellers? Unless you are in bed with the weapon sellers and you want war to continue. I mean, let's face it, fellas. If you are weapon sellers, you sell gun, machine guns, missiles, bomb, aeroplane, and all that stuff. Would you want war or would you want a world of peace? I think you got the answer. Like his guest, we're talking about the Republican senators, Elon Musk declared himself against the Senate bill aimed at providing additional $60 billion aid to Ukraine. So he doesn't want the idea of bringing $60 billion to Ukraine because it's just perpetuating war and more war. Now, I'm very interested to know, why is Musk looking at other things? I mean, isn't it rational that he says, do not send weapons to Ukraine? If you truly want peace, why are you sending weapons? Why don't you get them to sit together and discuss? Oh, okay, you are making money out of selling weapons. Unless that's truth. Okay, Donald Trump. Do you guys remember Donald Trump? Yes, Donald Trump, ex-USA president and current candidate to presidency in the United States of America. So Donald Trump has dropped something really shocking. He has encouraged Russia to deadbeat any country that will not pay its contribution to NATO. Yeah.
One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want.
Donald Trump is really shocking, isn't it? And perhaps that's one of the main reasons why many presidents in many countries and many people don't like him. Donald Trump, former American president, candidate to the November presidential, yes, he is again candidate to the next election. He declared on Saturday that he would encourage Russia to attack any member state of NATO which has not respected its obligations. Okay, so what are the obligations? Basically, fellas, in order for you to adhere to NATO, you need to pay some money. And that's 2% of your GDP. That's a lot of money. 2% of your GDP must be spent into NATO in order for you and your military. That's besides the weapons you have to buy, besides the equipment, the technology, because you have to synchronize the technology in order for your country to be part of NATO. 2% of your GDP has to be spent. And many countries of Europe are not spending that amount of money. They are big countries, big economies, but they're not spending that kind of money. But when there's issues, they all expect America, who's the main man of NATO, to stand and fight for them. So Trump said, from now on, if you do not pay what you need to pay as contribution for NATO, I'm going to encourage Russia to beat you up. And let me just remind you again that Donald Trump, during his presidency, put a lot of pressure on Germany, asking Germany to pay the amount it has to pay for its contribution to NATO. 2% of the GDP. So what is 2% of the GDP? Just to give you an insight into it. Norway, for instance. Norway's GDP is about $482 billion. That's a lot of money. And 2% of the GDP of a country like Norway would be about $10 billion. That's a lot of money. So again, many people do not like Donald Trump because Donald Trump thinks very differently from many other people. Prime Minister of Canada also said that he wasn't very happy that Trump could be passing as president in the next elections because the polls are looking very beneficial to Donald Trump. Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, who's not very much liked by a lot of people, said he had a very hard time with Donald Trump the last time. And he's hoping that it doesn't happen again. Because Donald Trump said he was weak. Donald Trump was not very happy with him. You know, Trump speaks his mind. So many people don't like Trump. Why? I know a lot of people don't like Trump. Many people think Donald Trump is a racist. He's not a nice person. He's misogynist. I mean, all that. He's not a perfect guy. That's for sure. He's not a perfect guy. However, Donald Trump is most likely called racist because he wants you to stay in your country and develop your country. Instead of you running away again from your country and going to America, stay in your country and fight for your right, fight for your freedom. Come together as one people and fight for your freedom. That is Donald Trump. That is his mentality. Again, I'm going to give you the example. It's very simple. I said it before, I say it again. If in your country everybody is sick or got a skin disease, what's the best way for you to do? Is it to run away from your country, going to another country with the possibility of infecting other people with what you have as a disease? Or the best possibilities for you to get healed or get help, get medication to drink in your country and fix everybody else? I think the second makes more sense. And that's why many people feel Trump is racist. Not necessarily. And again, Trump is a person that lacks strong family structure. Daddy, mommy, and children. That is Trump. Many people don't want that. People want to have a different type of life, different kind of choices. Again, this is relative. It depends on what you believe in. People choose to see where they want to see. So Trump has done a few good things, okay? Let me just cite a couple of them. Let me remind you, during Donald Trump, there was no war declared by America to any other country. No wars by America. And Donald Trump worked very hard to bring back American soldiers back to America, unlike many other presidents. Donald Trump was the first American president to cross into North Korea. Actually, the first Western president to cross into North Korea. So they were just about to get a solution with the North Koreans, with Donald Trump, because he's not motivated by making money through selling weapons and creating wars. Again, fellas, like I always say some of the times, don't you think having money helps as a president? If you already have money, you're rich already. You don't have to be pushed and tossed and turned into doing things you don't want to do because of money. Because you're not surprised with money. You have money already. So many people are not happy with Donald Trump possibly becoming president again. He said if a country of NATO dare not to pay what they have to pay, he's going to ask the Russians to go and bombard and destroy them. Very funny. So, NATO stands on the basis of if one NATO country gets attacked by another country that is not part of NATO, all countries of NATO will come together and fight that country. That is what NATO stands for, supposedly. And Trump says if a country doesn't pay what it's supposed to pay, if they get harassed or attacked by any other country, the United States of America and NATO will not intervene. They will be on their own. So most of these guys are very scared right now. Okay, so now we're back in Africa. Yeah, fellas. Okay, so we are in Niger. Niger, remember what it is? Here is Niger. Beautiful place, quite hot, but good people. Okay, so Niger has had a situation lately. If you haven't watched any video about Niger, I wish you to do so. I'm sure you're going to catch up very quickly. So Niger toppled the president. The president named Mohamed Bazoum was not very much liked by the people. Why wasn't Bazoum liked? Bazoum wasn't liked because people of Niger felt like Bazoum was working for the interest of Western nations. How is that possible? Niger is a very rich country. They have a lot of uranium. Uranium is the substance you need sometimes to create electricity. So France, being the country that colonized Niger many years ago until the 1960s, had an open access, unlimited access to uranium, which they paid for a very little price. France, after taking uranium, they would process it, creating electricity for themselves. Then the rest of the electricity was sold to other European countries. I mean, think about it. France gets so much uranium, they can make electricity with it, then sell it to other countries of Europe. In the meantime, people of Niger slept hungry and in the dark because they had no electricity. Niger, even though they provided a lot of uranium to France, they imported their own electricity from Nigeria. Yes, Niger and Nigeria are two different countries. This is Niger and this is Nigeria. These are bordering countries, brothers, but separated through colonialism. Now, after the president of Niger was toppled, Mohamed Bazoum, remember, many West African nations were not happy about that. Mohamed Bazoum was not a very much liked person by his own people. So his guard reversed him. They toppled him out of power and they took the lead of the country. The guard said it's time for Niger to profit from Niger. Now, many presidents from West African nations were not happy about that. They have a bloc, which they call ECOWAS. It's 15 countries from West Africa. These countries interconnect, they exchange and do commerce together. They help each other into moving forward in life, supposedly. Now, these countries were not happy. Why? Why were they not happy? They were not happy because most of these countries did the same thing Mohamed Bazoum used to do. Profit Western nations first and not look after African people. Number two, these countries of ECOWAS were not happy because they felt like if we allow Niger or Nigerians to topple the president, we're probably going to be next. So the best thing to do is to avoid this from happening. Let's go to Niger and topple the people that have toppled the president. So many of these countries were very, very angry and they came forward, initiated by the Nigerian president. Now, what has Niger done? The current government of Niger have blocked airspace access to Nigeria. Yes, no more Nigerian flights from Nigeria going to Niger. Not anymore. So from now on, if a Nigerian flight needs to go past to the north, they have to curve. They have to go to another side outside of Niger. What are the consequences? If you dare enter an airspace in which you are not invited, you are considered as an intruder. They can shoot you down. Now, they say this is very clear. It's not against any other plane or planes passing through Nigeria. This is specifically done for planes flying from Nigeria to any other destination. So why have they done that? They have done that because the president of Nigeria Tinubu was one of the harshest people against Niger. He was part of the head state that decided to come together and go attack Niger. That's why Niger said, you know what? Because you did that. And again, they were the first to sanction Niger, saying Niger planes cannot fly over Nigeria. They said, we're giving you back exactly what you're giving us. You are not flying over here. From now on, if Nigerians or any other person flying from Nigeria want to travel north, they're probably going to have to curve Niger and not go through Niger. And by curving and not going on a straight line, that means more fuel. That means more expenses. That also means ticket price hiking very fast. Let me remind you again that Nigeria cut electricity to Niger while Nigerians were fighting to free themselves. Not all Nigerians, obviously, the government or the leadership of Nigeria cut the electricity off this country. So how do you punish a bunch of soldiers that take over a country by cutting electricity? Aren't you in fact punishing the people of Niger, knowing or unknowingly? Think about all the people in hospital that needed electricity to survive, for oxygen. Think about all the people, all the babies born prematurely who needed to survive. Was that fair? Because you just want an ex-president or president that many people call corrupt to stay in power. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It's always a great pleasure. I want to know how you feel about this. You know, this is not about me. It's about all of us putting it together so we can all learn. God bless.